Good morning, and welcome to the Universalist Church, in which love is the spirit. We are glad you are here, whether you're here in the sanctuary today or anywhere in the world on our live stream. I'm Vicki Sklar, one of your representatives on the Board of Trustees. If you are a visitor, we hope you'll sign one of our guest books at either entrance to the sanctuary or visit our webpage, westhartforduu.org, to learn more. There you can use the contact page to get onto our electronic mailing list, which is the best way for us to stay connected. We look forward to helping you become part of the Universalist Church. Today we'll have fellowship through Zoom and a special fellowship brunch in Fisk Hall to celebrate the start of our stewardship campaign. If you need help finding your way to Fisk Hall for a fellowship hour, any member of the church will be happy to guide you. Just look for someone wearing a Universalist Church name tag. You can find the link for Zoom fellowship in your weekly news or our Breeze calendar. If you aren't getting the weekly news, please do sign up for it on our website. And now, I invite you to take a moment to make your mobile phone silent, turn off your email, and put away your keyboards, and settle in for worship.
One, two, three, one. One, two, three, one. What'll I do when you are far away and I'm blue? What'll I do? What'll I do when I am wondering who is kissing you? What'll I do? What'll I do with just a photograph to tell my troubles through? When I'm alone with only dreams of you that won't come true, what'll I do? What'll I do with just a photograph to tell my troubles to? When I'm alone with only dreams of you that won't come true, what'll I do?
If you have a home chalice, I invite you to light it as we light ours here in the sanctuary. And so, we light this symbol of our faith. This flame held by the chalice, each one of us held by one another in community. Our hopes and our intentions held by our commitments, our hearts held by the great compassion that we share, our lives held by our covenants. May we nurture today and every day these chalices of our being, so that we are always held in great care and love. Our opening hymn is number 128 in the gray hymnal. Number 128. Please rise in body or in spirit as we sing together. Please join me in speaking the words of our affirmation, our covenant. It's printed in your order of service and in the description online. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Please be seated. While there are many things around this church that seem to stay the same all the time, every so often there's something new that happens. One of the new things is the baptismal font holding our chalice. It used to hide over in the corner, and it's very, very heavy, so I don't anticipate us moving it really ever again. But it seemed such a shame to have such a beautiful thing from our past hidden away, not easily able for us to see or use it. And so now it holds our chalice and will also be useful during child dedication. Sometimes we have music that happens, and that music changes how we use the space. So today we have our jazz ensemble right up front, which means that during this time for all ages, I'm not going to be inviting you to come sit up here with me. There's just no good way to do that. But it also means that sometimes our time for all ages is really much more clearly for all ages, because you're all out there together and you're all hearing the same stories and ideas and questions. So today I have a question for all of you. No matter how old you are, or how young you are, or how in the middle you are, what happens here at church that makes it different from every place else that you go? Think for a minute. What happens here at church that makes it different than any place else you go? I would love to hear from anybody who's, say, under the age of 14 first. Does anybody have any ideas? What do you do here that's not like what you do anywhere else? Any ideas? Okay, either you're shy or you don't know. Oh, wait, there's an answer. Yes, please. I couldn't quite hear you. Could you repeat that? You like to have fun here? Is that what I heard? Excellent. I love the idea that the church is the place where you get to have fun and you're not having fun anywhere else. That makes me feel really good. I also hope that you have fun in other places too. Anybody else? All right, so if not anybody else under the age of 14, how about those of you who are over the age of 14? What do you find happens here that doesn't happen anywhere else in your life? We can teach one another this way. Yes?
This is actually from under 14.
Okay.
It's the only place that we can be with everybody that's here.
Okay. So Maggie said that this is about being able to be here with everybody that's here. And to me, that makes us remember that this collection of people probably wouldn't happen anywhere else but here. Is there any place else where we would all come together with this group, this exact group, at any time? I'm not sure. I don't think so. That's great. Thank you. What else happens here that doesn't happen anywhere else? Yes, Carla. You wear your name tag. I love it. That's amazing because that means that other people get to know you and you want to be known by other people too. Sometimes in the course of our lives, we're not sure that we want to be known by all the people around us, right? I don't wear a name tag when I'm out in the world. I go to the gym or the grocery store. I am not wearing a name tag. But here, we want to make sure that people know who we are. Excellent. What else? Yes, Jan.
When I'm here, I'm here. When I'm in other places, I'm not very good at that. I'm easily distracted and thinking of other things. When I'm here, I feel like I'm really paying attention to what's going on just right now.
You are making my heart grow 12 sizes today. Jan said that when she's here and present and paying attention. And when she's in other places, she's easily distracted and not necessarily paying attention to this very moment in just this same way. Yeah, that's kind of what I hope for all of us, is that we can engage here that deeply, whether we're sitting in the sanctuary or in a classroom or volunteering. Wherever we are in this space, I am hoping that we're paying close attention to each other and to ourselves. Yes,
We read things out loud as a group together.
that's true. That is something that we don't do very often in our wider society these days. We read things aloud together. We find things that have some meaning or some value. I introduce them to you. Sometimes we introduce them to each other. And we speak the same words, reminding us of what we have in common and some things that we might learn together. All right, Ruth, the last one. We sing together. The only other place that I can think of where I sing with other people in a similar sort of way is if I go to a concert and the person who's singing says, "All right, everybody, all together." But that doesn't nearly happen as often as it used to in my experience. There's something about singing together that's really special. Absolutely. Oh, I see one more. All right, let's have it. Likes playing in the nursery. That's understandable. Our nursery is a pretty great place. Our family library has comfortable chairs and all kinds of books and even some toys. This is a pretty great place to play if you want to. This is part of why church exists. All of these reasons. To give us a place to come to do the things that we don't necessarily do in the rest of the world. Things that have meaning, things that are fun, things that bring us together with this group of people, the things that allow us to live in a way that we would not live if this place didn't exist. So I'm glad you're here with us today and that you keep coming back, because this is a pretty special place. And now our children and their teachers will have an opportunity to experience some more special stuff. We'll sing everybody out to their classes using number 414 in the gray hymnal, number 414. As we leave this friendly place, love give light to every face. May the kindness which we learn light our hearts till we return. In order to make sure that this community that allows us to do things here that we don't necessarily do anywhere else, in order to do that, we practice care for this community. We think about the generosity that we use to support it every Sunday. But once a year, we focus our attention on that practice of generosity and care to make sure that our congregation can be strong and healthy in the coming year. And so today we begin our stewardship campaign for 2025. Kristen Phillips, our stewardship committee chair, is going to introduce that to us today. And also then we're going to have our reader, Jen Krebsbach, speak to us about the church. But before I let you talk, I need us to say an enormous thank you to Kristen Phillips, who has been running our stewardship campaign, stewardship campaign, for 4 years now, including this year. And it is a remarkable gift and generosity that you have given of yourself to us. So thank you for all that you have done and continue to do. And if we could all give her a gigantic thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Well, great intro, Reverend Adam. On behalf of the Stewardship Committee, we are excited to kick off the 2025 annual giving campaign. We're excited because this year's campaign will be different and will enable deeper connections across our congregation through in-person conversations. Many of you may not know this, but between 2023 and 2024, we lost a number of member households largely due to their feeling disconnected from the church. This year's campaign provides an opportunity to address this challenge while enabling the largest source of funding for the church's operation, our pledge revenue. The campaign will also be an important first step to enabling a successful capital campaign, which is currently planned for the fall of 2025. Now, we did our best to ensure that all member households are included in the campaign. But if you didn't officially pledge to support the church this year, even if you contributed financially, you may have fallen through the cracks. So if you haven't received a letter from Reverend Adam and me and would like to be included in the campaign, please contact Amanda in the office or me, and we'll make sure to put you on our list. When you are contacted by a volunteer steward, please accept the opportunity for a meeting. These conversations are mostly about your journeys with our beloved congregation. The pledge part comes at the end, and pledge amounts are not part of the conversation. The volunteer stewards canvassed each other as part of the training to do this, and I'm going to put Ruth Hanks on the spot. I'm sorry I didn't ask permission either. But I've been in the bell choir for years, as has Ruth. And I got to know Ruth better through this training than through all the years we've played together in the bell choir. It was a powerful and energizing experience, and we hope the same for all of you in your conversations. And as of Wednesday, 21 of our volunteer steward households have pledged, so we are already at $123,833, or 30% of our financial goal of $415,000 this year, so we're well on our way. Before turning the pulpit over to Jen, there are a few thank yous in order. First, a big thank you to our stewardship committee, Beth Bai, Steve Kahn, Dorothy Meggie, Iraj Manesh, Matt Schreck, Tracy Wilson, and Mike Zanta, our board liaison. Would you all please stand to be recognized and stay standing? And next, a big thank you to our board, all of whom are serving as volunteer stewards. And as mentioned, the Stewardship Committee and the board were hosting a brunch in Fisk Hall after the service, so we hope that you'll stay and enjoy some great food and brunch with all of us. Would our board members please stand? And then finally, in addition to the board and Stewardship Committee members, we have a number of other leaders from across the congregation who are serving in the important role of volunteer stewards. We have a total of 30 volunteer stewards. If you are a volunteer steward and not already standing, would you please stand to be recognized? Let's give all of these folks a round of applause. And you may be seated. Thank you for indulging this. I'd also like to thank Kevin and Amanda in the office for their ongoing support, and Cindy Schaefer, who did all the graphic design work to make this campaign look so professional. Lastly, there is someone who isn't serving on this year's campaign, but served on it for 6, maybe 7 years in total, and it's a long time to serve on this committee. We would like to formally recognize Joyce Harmon for her many years of service with this awesome Universalist Church branded tote bag. So Joyce, I can bring it to your pew, but thank you for your service. Now, I've been approached by many of you already this morning. How can I get one of those tote bags? And how can I get one of these great t-shirts? You're in luck. It's easy. Each week, we are going to be drawing names from those households who have submitted their pledges for either a tote bag or a t-shirt. Those winning tote bags will get them on the spot. For t-shirts, we'll get your desired size and place an order at the end of the campaign. So get your pledges in early for the best chance to win. Now it's time to turn the pulpit over to our capital campaign co-chair and testifier for today, Jen Krebsbach, who will share her story about her journey with our church.
So, by show of hands, how many of you consider yourselves to be on a spiritual journey of some sort, be it questioning, curious, wondering? So I've got a few fellow spirits in the room. I'll start with my spiritual journey that started when I was 10 years old. Living in Wisconsin, my family went to a congregational church. And as any 10-year-old would do, when you have a question, you write it in a note form. Remember how you used to pass notes in class? Well, my note form was on the back of our order of service, in the back of the car, and it said, God, are you real? Check here. Yes or no? So began my journey. We're going to fast forward because it'd be a long time if I went every year. But anyway, fast forward about 20 years, my husband and I moved here to Connecticut from Wisconsin. I was still curious, questioning, wondering, and wanted to find a community because my husband was working many, many long hours with his work at the time. So I went to local congregational churches because that's what I was familiar with. And there was a lovely church that I went to, a big church, and I didn't believe in everything, didn't agree with everything, but I thought, okay, it's, there's no place that's perfect. And I went to the new member questioning or new member orientation, I guess it was. And the minister was there, and he had a handout with a tree, a picture of a tree, and different branches of Christianity on the tree. And he had you there somewhere, and he said, well, they don't even belong here. They don't believe in the Trinity even. And I said, that's my tribe. I kid you not. And here I came. I had never heard of UUism, so here I come. I'm here at this church, and you are my tribe. My tribe that at Beckett, Camp Beckett, I met beloved Elizabeth F., who shared Wisconsin roots with me. My tribe who in the Goddess class, I met Carol M. and Roseanne A., who lovingly and caringly advised me through pregnancy and early motherhood. My beloved UU players, who created a safe space for me to sing. Lisa, Gretchen, Herb. There's so many of you, I could go on and on how we've touched each other's lives in creating this community that we have. You, me, we are this community. And that's why I give to this church, because of you. You who I love and know, and you who I love and don't know. And I hope you can give with your heart, as I do, to this beloved community where love is the spirit. Love you all.
Thank you, Jen. If my heart grows any bigger today, it's going to burst right out of my chest. Our voluntary offering, the sharing of our resources for our shared work as a religious community, is a spiritual practice for us. It happens on Sunday morning and all year round. You offer your time and talent and treasure to this community, and it allows us to do our work in the world and to sustain our lives with one another. This month, we are sharing our offering with the UUA's Disaster Relief Fund. The UUA's Disaster Relief Fund is a part of a covenant between our association and our congregations and our community partners. It gives grants to UU congregations and UU nonprofit entities that have been affected, usually by a natural disaster. The fund has been quite low recently, but in the wake of the recent hurricane, donations have started to flow back in. And that's good because our congregations in the affected areas need some help. So, donations not used for this disaster will be used for disasters that occur in the future, because unfortunately there will be more. But for the moment, your gifts will help sustain the life of this place and the lives of our communities in the southeast of the United States as well. You can give electronically by using the QR codes on your order of service or the links in the description or those on our website. And here in the sanctuary, our offering will now be gratefully received. May these gifts so generously given sustain the life of this community, the work that we do together, and make a difference in the wider world of which we are a part and which needs us so, so very much. Thank you. Thank you. Please rise, in body or in spirit, as we speak our congregational reading. It's number 580 in the gray hymnal, number 580 in the back of the gray hymnal. We'll read it together. The central task of the religious community is to unveil the bonds that bind each to all. There is a connectedness, a relationship discovered amid the particulars of our own lives and the lives of others. Once felt, it inspires us to act for justice. It is the church that assures us that we are not struggling for justice on our own, but as members of a larger community. The religious community is essential, for alone our vision is too narrow to see all that must be seen, and our strength too limited to do all that must be done. Together, our vision widens and our strength is renewed. Let's join in singing our doxology.
Praise God for love we all may share. Praise God for beauty everywhere. Praise God for hope of good to me. Praise God for truth that makes us free.
Please be seated. Before we begin our pastoral prayer, I have a couple of things to share with you. First, I know that there has been a lot happening in the world, and that some of us, all of us, I hope it's not only me, can be a little bit anxious about what's happening. Between weather and conflict in the Middle East and our upcoming election, there's a lot happening right now. And so I want you to know that you are in a room with other people who are also concerned about the world. You aren't alone in this. All those other UU congregations that have lit chalices this morning are filled with people who are concerned and trying to figure out what to do, whose side to be on. The answers aren't easy. There may even not be answers for some of these things. But in our togetherness, in this task of the religious community, we can be with and for one another, and with and for all of the people who are struggling and suffering and striving and wanting better. So in our prayers, may we hold one another and all of those who struggle and strive. And may our prayers inspire us to the actions that we can take to seek to make the world a better place. I have something more specific from within our congregation as well. Tracy W. is having a really challenging week living with cancer. She's home today watching online. And so, Tracy, you need to know that we are holding you and thinking of you and loving you today. Cards and emails will be much appreciated if you want to send a few. And so we hold Tracy and Beth, the entire family, Adam and Alexa and Ivy, everyone, in our hearts and our prayers today. Let's take a moment in stillness for the prayers of our hearts. May the prayers of our hearts become actions in the world. May those actions in the world make things better than even we could have imagined. And now I'm also going to ask you to pray with me in a slightly different way and for a slightly different reason. Because I want us to bless all of those people who have said yes to the work of helping us thrive. All of our stewards, whether they are on the stewardship team or the board or have just said, yes, this is important enough that I want to help. I'm going to ask you to bless them with me. We know the conversations you will have with us are important and that they can bring us into closer relationship and help us to understand how we support one another in all that is our life. And so we bless you with courage, with determination, with the love of this congregation, the people that you know and the people that you don't. In our blessing you, we know that there will be moments when the conversations seem awkward, when either you or the rest of us come into this time to talk with apprehension or preoccupation or introversion or a deep, deep longing for silence. But we know too that we build community by being community, and that your outreach and our reaching back is part of how we are community together. So we ask you to visit us. Stewards, we ask you to help us talk about what we love and what we need, to help us be community together, to help us understand what our willingness and our generosity can make real for us all. And so we bless you in this work. We bless you with patience and delight, with wonderful conversations and new friendships. We bless you with our great good wishes, our gratitude, and our willingness to engage. We bless you with the knowledge that you have said yes to helping our congregation thrive, and we wish you every success in helping us. Reach out with our blessings. Reach out with our confidence and our willingness. We look forward to speaking with you. May it be so. Amen.
Our first reading is adapted from a sermon called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire by UU minister Gary Kowalski. Being part of a religious community demands a special set of attitudes and expectations on the part of the participants. If we approach the relationship with a mentality of what's in it for me, well, we are almost certainly setting ourselves up for disappointment and failure. People bring with them the mindset of the marketplace as church shoppers or consumers. People who come to Unitarian Universalism seeking spiritual goods are likely to be disappointed so long as they have the outlook of consumers in search of material goods. If their connection to our liberal faith is to grow into something more rewarding, they have to give up the consumer mindset and begin to think of themselves instead as co-owners in what happens in church. making the transition from consumer to co-owner involves an emotional shift, but also a financial one. At that point, what people pledge to support their religious community is likely to increase significantly, but the profit, the payback, the dividends also rise dramatically. And our second reading is adapted from the introduction to Inciting Joy by Ross Gay. But what happens if joy is not separate from pain? What if joy and pain are fundamentally tangled up with one another? Or even more to the point, what if joy is not only entangled with pain or suffering or sorrow, but is also what emerges from how we care for each other through those things? What if, rather than warring with sorrow, we lay down our swords and invite sorrow in? I'm suggesting we make sorrow some tea from the lemon balm in the garden. We let sorrow wash up and take some of our clothes. We ask sorrow about themselves, and we scooch closer to hear. We eventually decide to invite a small group of friends over for a potluck because we want sorrow to meet them. Sorrow says, maybe more than just your closest friends? So we add to the list a couple of acquaintances from work and the supermarket. And when sorrow asks, what about that guy? Someone you really don't like. After thinking, how'd sorrow know that? You say, I hate that dude. Sorrow says, better invite him too. And when guests start showing up, just as your sorrow is pulling the loaves of bread from the oven and you're dressing the salad, at first it's just a few people nodding and smiling shyly when you wave them in. I'd like you to meet my sorrow, we holler to each other, dipping the flatbread into the hummus or eating kimchi with our fingers because the forks are long gone. Good to meet you, we shout, smiling and nodding at the sorrow, who also smiles and nods and half shrugs and raises their eyebrows. It goes on like this, growing louder and more raucous and ramshackle, this potluck of sorrows. There's a crew with their sorrows by the stove, watching the chai and singing Jodeci's cover of Stevie Wonder's Lately in perfect four-part harmony, which the dog joins in. And the dancing, which has been intermittent, just blasts off all of us and our sorrows, sweaty, stomping, shaking, tearing it up, the pictures falling off the walls and the books from the shelves, some logs ablaze in the fireplace, riotous. This care, this carrying, this incitement, this joy.
One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we ain't got a barrel of money, maybe we're ragged and funny, traveling home, singing a song, side by side. Don't know what's coming tomorrow. Maybe it's trouble and sorrow, but we travel the road, sharing our load, side by side.
Through all kinds of weather, what if the sky should fall? Just as long as we're together, it really doesn't matter at all.
Well, we
All had the quarrels and we'll be the same as we started, just traveling along, singing a song, side by side. See that sun in the morning, peeking over the hill. I'll bet you're sure it always has, and it always will. That's how I feel about someone, how somebody feels about me. We're sure we love each other, and that's always gonna be that way. Oh, we ain't got that love money, baby, we're ragged and fine, but we travel along, singing a song, side by side. Don't know what's coming tomorrow, maybe it's trouble and sorrow, when we travel our road, sharing our load, side by side. Through all kinds of weather, what if the sky should fall? Just as long as we're together, it really doesn't matter at all. Tell me our quarrels and parting will be the same as we started. We can travel along, travel along, side by side, side by
Every so often, people ask me why organized religion is even relevant anymore. Why do we do this thing? Why do congregations and temples and mosques and churches still exist? We have the internet, for heaven's sake. I think the answer is pretty simple, honestly. It's because the internet isn't enough. And other things out in the world that we do don't offer what these places give us. In this place, in this community, we can be for one another, with one another, in ways that don't really happen in the wider world. Many of us don't know our neighbors especially well these days. And our coworkers might be familiar, but we can't necessarily lean on them the same way that we lean on one another here. Sometimes people think it was much, much better in the past, right? And that everybody in a neighborhood knew each other and took care of each other, and maybe that did happen in some spots. But it didn't happen everywhere. The past is not always better, and the future is not always going to be even better still. What we have depends on us to make it real. It depends on us to make it loving and caring and comfortable and peaceful and sustainable and worthwhile. All the hardships have been with humanity for as long as we have been human, but so have all the good things. Love and birth and partnership and learning and compassion and art and music and beauty. There are challenges, of course, and today's challenges are ours to pick up. Strengthening democracy, limiting climate change, nurturing just and pluralistic community. But every group of people through time has had to face challenges and celebrate the good and try to make sense of it all. And some of the places that have allowed them to do that are congregations. Some of the places that allow us to do this are congregations. Places where we love one another even if we don't know everyone around us. Honestly, especially if we don't know everyone around us. I think congregations exist not so much because we all must decide to believe the same thing. It's not about whether God exists or doesn't exist. Check the box. It's about how we are together in love and determination and sorrow and wondering and joy. And to know that by being a part of a place like this, We don't have to go out and find a community when we need a community, because this one is here with us, ready, now. We are here for one another, and the dream that is held within our covenants is that we will always be here for those who need us. Sometimes, as Kristen mentioned, people disconnect from a congregation. We saw that the pandemic definitely had some people feel like they didn't know how to be with us anymore. Sometimes people move away, sometimes life circumstances change. Sometimes people make church work and forget to be in relationship, forget to talk and have fun and make meaning and make beauty together. And when that happens, it's really easy to let this place go because it feels like a job, not a community. What I want you to know is that this is first and foremost a community. And the work that we do here is to make the community thrive and to open it so that there is possibility for anybody and everybody who comes through our doors who wants to be here. And we have to balance our effort with rest and worship and learning and creativity and fellowship. We have to be willing to be a little vulnerable with one another, to have conversations about what we love and what scares us and what we hope for and how we might help support the church too. We have to receive as well as work. We have to give of ourselves, yes, but not just of what is easy to give away. The thriving of our congregation happens when we share our lives together. All of it. As that opening hymn said, for all that is our life, we give our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift. And when it comes with some sorrow or determination or challenge or satisfaction and joy, we find ways to share in the responsibility of making this congregation what it needs to be to hold all of us through all that is our life, just as the chalice holds that flame. And so this month we will take time to attend to our financial needs, to the spiritual meaning of generosity, to have some great conversations about how we love and serve and give. When I read Ross Gay's Inciting Joy, this introduction, bringing our sorrows together for a potluck, I thought, no, you know what? That's exactly what it's like. It doesn't matter what the food is or what the music is. It doesn't matter if it's Stevie Wonder or Jodeci or, goodness, square dance music. I know there's at least one person in this congregation who loves a good square dance. The point is not what it is that we share, but that we share. And then, when we do, it goes on like this, Ross Gay writes, growing louder and more raucous and ramshackle, this potluck of sorrows. And the dancing, which has been intermittent, just blasts off, all of us, and our sorrows, sweaty, stomping and shaking, tearing it up, the pictures falling off the walls, the books from the shelves, logs ablaze in the fireplace, riotous. This care, this carrying, this incitement, this joy. That is what I hope we will take in this time. When the world is uncertain and lives are uncertain and there is still hope and dreaming and possibility, what I want you to take away is that by coming together, by bringing our vulnerability, by bringing all that is our life into one another's lives, we can make a congregation that saves lives, that lifts us up, that helps us through, that helps us make the world a better place. And this is what a congregation can do that is different from what other places do. And it requires all of us to do it, to bring ourselves here to one another, to be with one another, to make it possible for there to be a place like this for anyone and everyone who needs it. This is what a congregation can do that is different. It can help us be with one another in all and for all that is our life. As I said, through all of what you have shared, my heart has grown many, many sizes today. And I am grateful. And I look forward to that happening throughout this month and through the rest of the year. May your hearts grow equally in your conversations. Please rise, in body or in spirit, as we join in singing our closing hymn. It's number 1021 in the blue hymnal. Number 1021, Lean on Me. Let's speak together our unison benediction. It's in your order of service and the description online. Engage with the world in peace. Have courage. Hold on to what is good. Return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering. Honor all beings. Please be seated. I know that some of you need to go back to Fisk Hall to help with the fellowship time and all of that. If you need to get up and leave, please feel free to do so. But otherwise, I invite you to stay and hear our postlude.
1, 2, 3.
Pack up all my care and woe. Here I go, swinging low. My